What's up, you guys? It's TJ here on this beautiful Monday morning, and today I want to talk to you guys about the most important work that you can do. And the most important work that you can ever do is your inner work. It's understanding the intricacies, the patterns, the habits of your mind and actions, how they either build you up or tear you down, how to not identify with any traumas or negative experiences you've had in your past, and how to live a more free life just overall, okay? And so the first thing I want to say to get into this is when we deny the darkest parts of ourselves, it could be either something that may have happened to us or something we may have done to others, or it could be a combination of both. It could be a reaction to something that happened and then we treated somebody or something the wrong way, right? There's no limit to what the darkness can be within you, but if we try to deny it, if we don't accept it, bring it to the front of our consciousness, examine it, and see not only why, but what it has caused in us, we will continuously project our own insecurities, our own fears, and our own traumas onto others when we look and when we perceive things that make us uncomfortable, right? And so there's a million different ways that we deny things and try to not embrace our deepest selves. It could be drinking, it could be smoking, it could be sex, it could even be exercise, it could be anything, playing basketball, it could be whatever you think about. Anything that keeps you from having to observe yourself and bring some awareness into your mind and into your body and what you're holding on to. The more you deny it and the less you accept it, the more it'll just build and build and build and continue to put anxiety, pressure, and weight on your shoulders, okay? And so for me, I personally believe that meditation is the best way to really start the healing process, to really start the inner work. Because when you sit with yourself with no distractions, I mean no music, no talks in the background, minimal sound. I like to sit out in nature and hear the sounds of the birds and the wind and the trees and that type of thing because it's peaceful, but I also 100% would recommend times where there's just dead silence. Because when you do these things, what you are forced to do is to come into your own mind and pay attention to the thoughts that you think and the way that your body feels in reaction to that, right? And so when we have certain traumas in our past, when we have certain experiences that were painful, were heartbreaking, you know, any of those terms that we think of when we think of traumas, it gets trapped not only in our mind but in our body. The energy gets stuck and we have to free it out ourselves. We have to heal it and allow it to move freely through our body. And so when we speak of trauma, well, we usually don't want to admit that we identify with that pain. And that's part of playing the victim. That's part of the victim mindset. But the vast majority of society, I would say nowadays, now that's a generalization, I may be wrong, but a lot of society nowadays, they say, well, this happened to me, so because of this, that's why I am the way I am. And although I don't want to deny anybody's trauma, I understand that those things do influence you. You're copying yourself out if you don't take responsibility for who you are in the present moment and you're just living based off of a past perception of an event or an experience, whatever it is. If you just say, well, this happened, so I am this, you're not giving yourself, you're actually giving your power away to transform yourself and to become a better version today in this present moment because you're stuck identified with that past event, okay? And so again, when we have those traumas, we actually project our own insecurities, our own fears, and our own ideas onto our reality, onto our people, onto our family members. It could be a pet, it could be whatever it is. We project our own internal feelings onto everything outside of us, right? So that is the key to living a better life, is to understand that, well, if I feel bad, I'm going to project those negative feelings into the world. Whereas if I can sit with myself, if I can realize that these things happen and they may have sucked, they may have been so painful, I may have caused others pain, which is hard to live with. If I can sit with myself, if I can see where those things come from, or even if I can't necessarily find the root, if I can at least identify the habit, the process that goes through my mind when these things arise, when these feelings arise within me, if I can begin to be conscious of those things, if I can begin to see them for what they are, I can choose to make a different choice in the moment that it arises, right? And so when we do those things, when we sit with ourselves and we start to recreate our internal perception of either an event or ourselves, if we can be thankful for these negative events because they taught us to be stronger, they gave us a lesson, they gave us wisdom, whatever it is. If we can sit with ourselves and start to change that internal perception, start to heal our feelings about ourselves and the world, and we begin to come from a more, I don't really want to say pure, but pure is probably the only word that's coming into my mind right now, a more pure place, a more loving place, a higher vibration, as some people say. When we can come from that place, it changes our perception of the world, which then changes the world because we are in the world. We separate ourselves through our own identities and through our own beliefs, but if you take a step back, you will realize that you are a part of your environment just as much as your environment is a part of you, right? We're not separate, we are actually one with all of the things that are within us and around us. It's not a separation is the best way I can say it. So if we don't heal those traumas, we will always project. If we do heal those traumas, we are an anchor for change or an anchor for growth, because people will see that you took the time to sit with yourself and to acknowledge all of those parts, not to deny and say that I am only love and light, I am only a good person, I am only this or whatever you want to think that you are. If you look at yourself and say, nah, I had some messed up situations, nah, I did some messed up things, but I learned from them. And now I can be whatever I choose to be in this moment. I don't think that you have to be good or bad. I think the universe needs both for it to continue to expand and survive, but you can choose. You have a choice now as opposed to running on a system that was installed in you from those traumas, okay? And so if we can do that, if we can start to heal our wounds, we won't be so sensitive to what other people say either about us or about other things in the world, right? And I'll leave it off with this before I just give my goodbyes and say thank you guys for watching. But in the book, The 4 Agreements, which I spoke about in The Power of the Word, he actually describes walking around with basically open wounds on your skin. And that's kind of what it's like to live still identified or still not healed from your trauma. If we were to walk around with blisters all over our skin, we wouldn't want anybody to touch us. We wouldn't want somebody to give us a hug. We wouldn't want somebody to even tap a finger on us because it would hurt, right? Well, that's kind of the same situation that's happening nowadays in society. We look around and everybody wants you to not say something negative about either a group of people or an individual. And although I will never say that you should purposely demean and hurt somebody, you shouldn't attack somebody for the way that they are, it's also true that your triggers are internal. When somebody speaks about something and it triggers you, their words may have been the trigger, but it's internal. It is what you believe and what you are holding on to that is causing those negative emotions to arise within you. So if you want to walk around and be afraid of what people might say and get triggered by what people might do or say, then you're walking around with those open wounds. If you want to walk around stable in knowing yourself and embracing all the things that you have without judgment or without fear, then go inside yourself and really just do some inner work, come back to equilibrium, and know that everything that happened to you, everything that will happen to you, and everything that's happening right now is for a reason. You learn from it, you grow from it, and you continue to expand as a being, as a consciousness, as an awareness. And we can all just take some time. If we expand our self-awareness, if we dig into those deep corners of our mind, we become more integrated and whole human beings, and it just makes not only our life better, but the lives of everyone around us better. So as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys listening to some of the wisdom that I've come to know. I don't claim myself to be a guru or a teacher or anything. I just have learned from my own introspection, my own experiences, and I feel love when I share them. I feel embraced in knowing that what I've learned may help others. So don't look at me as a teacher or a guru. Just take the words, and if they resonate with you, go ahead and add them to your life. Start to dig deeper into your own consciousness and experiences. And if not, then man, just turn the video off and maybe watch the next one, maybe don't. But as always, it's all love on my side. I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe if you feel inclined to do so, and I will see you guys later this week. Peace.